This is excellent. Okay, so I love this story. So Billy had a player who went 2 for 11 and played 38 minutes. And this player got totally down on himself when he wasn't playing good. So 2 for 11 is not very good. So Billy walked in and he asked the player, how many shots did you miss last night? This was the next day. The player says 9. How long does it take for you to shoot a shot? The player was a little confused. He said about a second. How many minutes did you play? The player says 38. So let me get this straight. You allowed 9 seconds to affect the rest of the 37 minutes and 51 seconds you played. And that was all he had to say. And I think that that would be a way that you confront the truth in a creative way that just grabs their spirit.
Well, you know, the one thing, and maybe we've got coaches from different sports, but when you're playing a sport with one ball, okay, outside in basketball, the point guard, who probably has the ball in his hands between 7 to 10% of his minutes, and the rest of the players have the ball less than 5% of their minutes being played. The game basketball, about 95% of the time, is played without the ball in your hands. And it's another thing, and I talk about it from a societal challenge, is because everything on the headlines in newspapers is who the leading scorer was or how many points did this guy score, that guy score, what happens is players play for that, and players get into that. And I get there's recognition, there's notoriety, there's those kind of things, but the reality is, and the truth is, that they're playing the game 95% of the time without the ball in their hand. And I think a lot of times players play their 95% hoping to get it back. You know, run around hoping they're going to throw it to me again, you know what I mean? And they run back on defense, and you know, I'm going to touch it again, you know what I mean? And the thing that was amazing was I had a young kid, and I every year I try to do this to break it down, but I had a young kid that I said to him, he played, I think, 25 minutes in the game, and I said to him, how long do you think you had the ball in your hands last night in the game? And he said to me, 15 minutes. And I was like, 15 minutes? Nobody had the ball 15 minutes. And it's just try to get them, you know, we had, in Florida, we always had 95% all over the gym, 95%, to get them to understand that the real value in playing is not how well you play with the ball. Now, the ball obviously is extremely important, how well you take care of it, how well you pass it, what are your shots like. I'm not diminishing that part of it. But there is running back in transition. There is blocking out. You know, there is help side defense. Okay, there is taking a charge. There is diving on the floor for a loose basketball. There is help. Okay, there is screening. Okay, there is trying to go offensive rebound. There's so many other things that go into impacting the outcome of the game. And so much of these guys are unable to play their 95% because they're so consumed with their 5%, and their 5% takes them to these incredible emotional highs and lows based on whether the ball goes in the basket. You ever see this when a guy makes a shot and they're running down the floor saying, come on? Like, how about like when you miss a shot, say, let's come on, you know? Like, it's just, it's interesting. So to Brett's point, I try to like expose the game of basketball for what it is and try to get them to see what the big picture is in the game. That making shots is going to come and go, but the things that you can actually have control over are the things you're having to do 95% of the time. Why not focus on being great at those things?